Hey, Blake T. Wild here, and we are officially in the scariest month of the year, which means that you need to get ready for a month-long horrific coverage of comics on the channel. I'm covering a bunch of Halloween spooky-esque comics for all of October, which does mean that I am putting Squadron Supreme and The Ultimate Year on pause until November. They will be back in November, don't worry. But in the meantime, you can watch these weekly What Is Halloween videos. And you can also check out The Nightmare Arcade, where each week in October I am playing through a different horror game. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't think of any other Halloween special that gets better than The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, especially those early years. Oh my god, I love The Simpsons, I still do, and Treehouse of Horror was one of the absolute favorite things about watching the series when I was a kid. But just like the Ghostbusters, I never got into the long-running comics, specifically the comic series published through Bongo Comics. So I figured what better way to do that than to dive right into a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror comic that is written by Garth Ennis. That's right, Mr. The Boys and Preacher and Punisher Man himself, Garth Ennis and his longtime collaborator John McCrae come together to make a Simpsons comic. And here's a fun fact, Garth Ennis and I have the same birthday. And of course, before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for content just like this. And leave any suggestions in the comments down below on Ultimate Marvel comics that I need to be covering, because I'm covering the whole universe. Let's get right into this, right after these messages. Over on my Etsy shop, blaketwild.etsy.com, you can purchase issues 1 and 2 of the Custodians Agents of Cross. Each issue is over 50 pages of pure comics for only $15. You won't find a better deal like that for Marvel or DC these days. What happens when the fate of the world rests on the shoulders of an intelligent baboon, the world's smartest man who has the power of elasticity but only in his right arm, a pyrokinetic teenager, and a 4-armed werewolf? I also have all 5 issues of Destructo Boy available there as well. What's that? You don't like physical comics? Well, great, because over on my Patreon, patreon.com/smokiesvideos, I have all the issues available digitally, published on there for only $2. Released in 2001, written by Garth, Express Elevator to Heck Ennis, and John coming out of the gosh darn walls McCrae. This is Bart Simpson's Treehouse of Horror. In Springfield, no one can hear you scream. And this issue also contains, get this, a pretty good story written by Mark Hamill. But I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the Garth Ennis one. The book begins in the Simpsons' home as Bart tries to watch the Krusty Show, but Maggie is being too annoying. Then the Itchy and Scratchy short is aired called Face-Huggin' Frolics. It features a horribly alien Itchy being chased by space freighter Scratchy until the Xeno Mouse is cornered, pops a zit on his face, which shoots acid all over Scratchy's head. Scratchy recoils in pain and trips over an egg. He's attacked by an Itchy facehugger, then Itchy chestbursters explode out of him. Bart laughs wildly, and Marge chastises him for watching this with Maggie in the room. She picks up Maggie and says that she doesn't want him watching Itchy and Scratchy. But Bart tells her not to have a xenomorph and follows her to the kitchen, and she tells him that he'd better not come crying to her if he scares himself in his nightmares. Later that night, Bart lies in bed when he hears a strange beating sound emanating throughout the house. He leaves his room, walks down the dark stairs, and emerges into a horrific biomechanical hive, where his entire family and Santa's little helper have been ensnared. But that's not all. Other residents and friends of the family have also been trapped. Bart finds Homer, who absent-mindedly whimpers to his son. Bart freaks out and begins to cry, and Homer asks if Bart can grab him a beer because all this hanging around in a cocoon is making him thirsty. Then xenomorph versions of the characters explode out of their chests and give chase to Bart. He runs into the darkness and comes across the alien Queen.
So, Bart Simpson, you dare face the Queen?
I'm a queen too, sir.
Idly ho, neighborino.
The xenomorph Burns steps towards a terrified Bart, and then some Burns facehuggers appear. Then his family of xenomorphs surround him, pin him to the ground, and a facehugger crawls over his face. And Bart wakes up, launches Snowball 2 off his chest, and freaks out. And later that morning, Bart recounts his nightmare to his family over pancakes, and Marge tells him that monsters aren't real. And unbeknownst to everyone else, a protruding secondary mouth emerges from Maggie's as she sucks her pacifier. The end. I hope you enjoyed this fun little book story. It's not that long, obviously. It's part of an anthology, but I just thought it was crazy that Garth Ennis wrote a Simpsons comic. I've known about this one for years. I've wanted to cover it for years, and I figured now would be the best time. What are your thoughts on this? The art style is absolutely insane for this Simpsons book. Everything is so weird and grossly off model, but it works for, it's like a nightmare sort of realm that it's entering. Are there any Simpsons comics I should check out? If anybody watching this read all the Simpsons comics or a bunch of them, let me know if there's any particular ones. There is one I want to read where Mr. Burns like buys out the Quickie Mart or something. It just seems like a fun idea. But if, leave suggestions for that. Leave suggestions for Ultimate Comics, like I said at the top of the show. And this was just a really fun, quick story. Garth Ennis gets shit on for his obnoxiously ridiculous spoofs in The Boys. But I think that people forget that he can actually write different stuff. Like, he gets the characters down pretty well, I feel. It feels like it would be something that's in an actual Simpsons episode. And, he's also just an incredibly versatile writer. I defend Garth Ennis. I'm a Garth Ennis truther. I'm a Garth Ennis defender. When he wants to, he can absolutely write fantastic characters, fantastic stories. It's just everybody goes to The Boys when they think of Garth Ennis. But I did quite enjoy this issue, the story. The rest of the book is pretty fun. Like I said, there's that Mark Hamill one. There's a couple of others here and there. But this one I figured would be the most popular. I recommend checking out the other stories in this book. If you check out this issue, it's number 7 of the Treehouse of Horror series. And this is just another weird comic to add to Garth Ennis's weird list of comics that he has written. It'll shock you, some of the books that he's done, because it's just way out there. And this is just one of them, baby. Again, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Check out my Etsy shop, blaketwild.etsy.com. Follow me on Patreon, patreon.com/Smokey'sVideos. And follow me on all social media at NotBlakeWild. And check out my Comic Shtick podcast, where comics are my shtick. And I will see you next time, ghosts and ghouls. Bye.